Love. It's supposed to be a sanctuary, a safe harbor. Yet, how often does it feel more like a battlefield? You find yourselves in the trenches, lobbing verbal grenades, dodging accusations, retreating behind walls of silence. The person you love most suddenly feels like the opposition. Every discussion escalates, misunderstandings pile up like casualties, and you wonder, how did we get here? Why does something that started with so much connection now feel like a constant struggle for territory? If you've ever felt this way, you are far from alone. The love is a battlefield metaphor resonates because, let's be honest, sometimes it feels intensely like one. But here's a thought, perhaps a controversial one. What if the battle itself isn't the real problem? What if the way we think about love and communication is setting us up for conflict? Welcome to Involve Educate. We delve into the complexities of the human mind, relationships, and the philosophies that shape our lives. Today, we're not just offering tips on talking nicer. We're dissecting why communication breaks down, exploring the psychological and philosophical underpinnings of relationship conflict, and revealing how shifting your mindset might be the most powerful communication tool you possess. Forget the battle plans. It's time for a paradigm shift. If you're ready to transform your relationship communication from conflict to connection, make sure you're subscribed to Involve Educate, because we're about to rearm you with understanding. So, why does love sometimes feel like war? Part of the answer lies deep within our programming. Our brains, hardwired for survival, are incredibly sensitive to perceived threats. And in the intense vulnerability of an intimate relationship, perceived threats are everywhere. A critical tone, a dismissive gesture, a partner pulling away. These can trigger our ancient fight-or-flight response just as surely as a predator in the wild. Our nervous system floods with stress hormones, rational thought goes offline, and suddenly we're reacting from a place of primal fear, not love. Add to this the complexities of our attachment styles, formed in early childhood. If we grew up feeling insecure about connection, we might become hyper-vigilant for signs of abandonment, anxious attachment, leading to clinging or protest behavior. Or we might have learned to suppress our needs and keep emotional distance to protect ourselves, avoidant attachment, leading to withdrawal and stonewalling when conflict arises. These deep-seated patterns dictate how we navigate intimacy and conflict, often unconsciously. We enter relationships with unspoken expectations, often shaped by fairy tales, movies, or even our parents' dysfunctional dynamics. We expect mind reading, constant harmony, a partner who fulfills all our needs. When reality inevitably falls short, disappointment brews, resentment builds, and the battle lines are drawn based on these unmet, often unrealistic expectations. So much of the battle isn't actually about the surface issue, the dishes, being late, where to go on vacation. It's fueled by deeper, often unconscious forces, our brain's threat response, our attachment insecurities, and our mismatched expectations. The conflict isn't necessarily a sign the relationship is doomed. It's often a sign these underlying dynamics are being triggered and mismanaged. If the underlying dynamics are the fuel, what are the actual weapons used on this battlefield? It's usually not malice. More often, the real enemy is misunderstanding, amplified by destructive communication patterns. And relationship researchers, like the renowned Dr. John Gottman, have identified the four most toxic patterns, the four horsemen of the apocalypse for relationships. Criticism. This isn't just complaining, it's attacking your partner's character. You always forget. You're so lazy, selfish. It puts them immediately on the defensive. Contempt. This is criticism laced with disrespect, sarcasm, eye-rolling, mocking, name-calling. It conveys disgust and is the single biggest predictor of relationship failure, according to Gottman. Defensiveness. The natural response to criticism, but utterly counterproductive. Instead of listening, we make excuses, play the victim, or cross-complain. Well, you never. It escalates the conflict. Stonewalling. One partner shuts down, withdraws, gives the silent treatment. It often happens when feeling physiologically overwhelmed, flooded, but it signals abandonment and disconnection to the other partner. We often blame our partner for the conflict. If only they would change. But here's the controversial truth. The real enemy usually isn't your partner. The real enemy is the negative cycle itself, the destructive dance you both get caught in, fueled by these toxic patterns and the underlying issues we discussed. You're fighting the pattern, not the person you love. So, how do we stop the war? We need a fundamental shift in perspective. We need to move from a win-lose mentality to a win-win, or even better, an understand-connect mentality. This isn't just pop psychology. It's rooted in deep philosophical wisdom. Think about Stoicism. Philosophers like Marcus Aurelius emphasized focusing on what we can control, primarily our own judgments, responses, and actions, and accepting what we cannot. In an argument, you can't control your partner's reaction, but you can control your own defensiveness, your choice of words, your willingness to listen. Shifting focus from blaming them to managing yourself is incredibly empowering. Existentialism reminds us of our radical freedom and responsibility. We choose how we show up in our relationships. We can choose blame and defensiveness, or we can choose vulnerability and the hard work of understanding. Taking responsibility for our part in the communication breakdown, rather than seeing ourselves solely as victims, is crucial for change. And philosophies like the ethics of care emphasize the importance of empathy, connection, and responsiveness in relationships. The goal isn't to win the argument, but to understand your partner's perspective, validate their feelings, even if you disagree with their point, and preserve the connection despite the disagreement. Effective communication isn't just about mastering specific phrases or techniques, though those help. It's fundamentally about the mindset and intention you bring to the interaction. Are you there to win or to understand, to defend or to connect, to control or to collaborate? This internal shift is the foundation upon which all effective communication skills are built. Okay, with that foundational mindset shift, let's equip ourselves with some practical, powerful communication skills, the tools to replace those verbal grenades with bridges of understanding. Active listening, beyond just hearing. This is number one for a reason. Most of us don't truly listen. We wait for our turn to speak, formulating our rebuttal while the other person is talking. Active listening means fully concentrating, understanding, responding, and then remembering what is being said. It involves paying attention, put away distractions, make eye contact, lean in. Showing you're listening. Nod, use brief verbal affirmations. I see. Providing feedback. Paraphrase what you heard. So, if I understand correctly, you feel, ask clarifying questions. Deferring judgment. Don't interrupt with counter-arguments. Allow them to fully express themselves first. Responding appropriately. Share your perspective respectfully after you've truly heard theirs. I, statements. Owning your feelings. Instead of blaming, you always make me feel, which triggers defensiveness. Use I statements. The formula is simple. I feel your emotion when specific behavior, because your interpretation need. Example, I feel hurt when the dishes aren't done after I've asked because it makes me feel like my request wasn't important. It focuses on your experience, not attacking theirs. Decoding nonverbal cues. So much communication is nonverbal. Pay attention to tone of voice, facial expressions, posture, gestures. Are their words matching their body language? Sometimes the unspoken message is the most important one, and be aware of your own nonverbals too. Emotional regulation, the crucial pre-skill. You can know all the techniques, but if you're flooded with anger or anxiety, you won't use them effectively. Learn to recognize your emotional triggers. When you feel overwhelmed, take a time out. Agree to pause the conversation and revisit it when you're both calmer. Deep breathing, a short walk. Find what helps you regulate before you re-engage. Setting healthy boundaries. Good communication also means knowing and expressing your limits respectfully. It's okay to say no, to express what you're not comfortable with, or to state your needs clearly. Boundaries aren't walls, they're guidelines for respectful interaction. These aren't just nice things to try. They are learnable skills, like playing an instrument or learning a language. They require conscious effort, practice, and patience. You won't be perfect overnight, but consistent practice transforms how you connect. So, is love a battlefield? It can feel that way when we're armed with misunderstanding and defensiveness, fighting unconscious battles rooted in our past. But it doesn't have to be. by shifting our mindset from winning to understanding, by recognizing the real enemy isn't our partner, but the destructive patterns we fall into, and by diligently practicing the skills of connection, active listening, owning our feelings, regulating our emotions, we can transform the relationship landscape. It's not about eliminating conflict entirely. Disagreement is natural. It's about learning to navigate that conflict constructively, turning potential battles into opportunities for deeper understanding, growth, and intimacy. It's about transforming the battlefield into a collaborative training ground for becoming better partners and better humans. What's one communication skill you want to practice more intentionally in your relationship starting today? Is it active listening, using I statements, taking a calming time out? Share your commitment in the comments below. Let's support each other on this journey. If this perspective shift resonated with you, if you had an aha moment, please give this video a like. It helps tremendously. Share it with your partner or anyone you know who could benefit from transforming their communication. And crucially, to continue evolving your understanding of relationships, psychology, and philosophy, make sure you subscribe to Involve Educate and hit the notification bell. We're dedicated to bringing you insights that matter. Remember, connection is a skill you build, not a battle you win. Thank you for watching.